What's up, people? It's your boy Clement here, and I'm here with my partner
Ebenezer.
And today we're gonna talk about an interesting topic, right?
Yes, one of my favorites.
Yeah, why you should have many credit cards. And
it sounds insane for some people.
It sounds insane. It's like, why would I have many credit cards if I don't need it?
Yeah.
Right. So in our previous videos, we've talked about the types of credit cards that you can get. So if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch it. It has a very good amount of information in there. Like it, subscribe to the channel so that we can bring you more videos like this, and share it with people just so we can keep learning together, right? And drop your comments as well. We value those. So how many credit cards do you have again?
22.
22 credit cards. That's a lot of credit cards. I know your eyes went, psh. Why would somebody want to get 22
that
credit
many
cards?
credit cards? You have 11.
I have 11. Yeah. So why do you have 22 credit cards? Does it help you in any way?
It helps me a lot. Okay.
Are you able to use all these 22 credit cards?
Yes, I'm able to use those credit cards. But before, like I always tell people, please be disciplined to use credit cards. Everybody should have a credit card if they are eligible and legally able to. But if you are not disciplined or you are not ready to be disciplined, do not get any credit card at all. Okay, so 22 credit cards, right? So I'm able to keep track of all those credit cards as well. I don't use all of them at once. Obviously, that's very stupid. Well, maybe not stupid if you can actually do that. But I rotate my cards. So right now I'm using about, I have, these are the credit cards that I'm using. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4. About 4 and maybe one more that I'm using. So I rotate them. I use this card, and then I'll pay them off. Then I'll use different set of credit cards depending on the category and what you have. And some of them, maybe they may be doing some things at a particular time, and then those are the best credit card for those scenarios, and then I will use them. Sometimes I haven't used the card for a very long time because I have favorite cards that I use. So I use them all the time, regardless of whether they give me points or not. I just like using them. But sometimes I just use them because I haven't used them in a long time. Like, say I have a lot of credit cards, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't use them. Like, I have my 22 credit cards. It's just sitting there. I don't use them. What do you think will happen?
Eventually, the banks will cancel it if you don't use it at all.
Yeah.
So normally, banks have an amount of time within when you have to use the credit card. So normally I recommend that at least once every 6 months. I mean, I've had my Best Buy credit card at some point. I didn't use it for like a year. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the time limit is.
Every bank is, every credit card company is different. You know, sometimes, especially if you use it a lot and all of a sudden you haven't used it, it's probably different. But yeah, just don't get, we're about to get into the details, but just don't get a credit card and let it sit there and you won't use it, okay? Because if you don't use it, eventually, because the more you use their card, they get money, right? So if you have their card and you're not using it, what's the point? You know, they will cancel it. And the reason why we are saying use it is, first of all, especially if it's your first credit card, okay, that's the credit card that carries all your balance on it. If you don't use that card and they cancel it, you are done. Well, you are not done, but you're actually done because you never close
a credit card. I've made that mistake before.
Well, never close it except you really have to. That would be a separate video. Yeah. But just don't let them close any credit card, especially if one of your older credit cards. We talk about that in a different video.
So let's dive into it and talk about the advantages of having multiple credit cards, right? So first one I'll talk about, it helps you keep track of your expenses if you can. So somebody like me, at the end of the month, I like to go back and track my budget. We will have separate videos where we will talk about budgeting. But for me, I like to be able to see that, okay, during the month, I spent this amount on food. I spent this amount on gas. I spent this amount in Walmart type or expenses, you know. So what I do is at the end of the month, if I have a credit card that I used to buy just gas, I have my Walmart credit card. I just used to buy my Walmart items. I have credit card that I used to just buy food if I go out to eat. So at the end of the month, I see those different bills and I'm able to tell that, okay, on a monthly basis, I'm buying
this amount.
$200 worth of gas. I'm buying $100 worth of food. And then I'll be able to calculate that.
But can't you do that on a debit card?
I can, but with debit card, I don't feel like I'm protected. I've been a victim of fraud before, and we'll talk about that.
that's a whole nother video. But just for starters, it just secures you.
Credit cards are safer.
Yeah.
Debit card, if your money goes, if somebody swipes your card or something, that's your money.
It's gone whilst they investigate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Credit card is the bank's money.
Yeah.
So you're just borrowing to pay them back.
Yeah.
So with mine, I keep track, right? So I'm able to tell that maybe I'm spending too much money on food, so I need to cut down. When I put all those expenses on one card, it makes it harder to track it. I don't like to go back at the end of the month just to look through all my transactions and see that, okay, I spent this amount of gas. And it's a lot of work. So if I have the card that I just used to buy gas, if the bill comes in at $200, I know I bought gas.
Understand what were you? Okay,
right.
Makes sense.
If I have the card I used to just buy food, when the bill comes in at $300, I know I spent $300 on food.
True.
Right.
True.
If those Walmart type of expenses, I know I spent this amount on that. So it helps me know that, okay, I need to cut down here. I need to improve my spending. So
it helps you budget, basically.
It helps me budget. Mm-hmm. So when I'm planning for the future, I'm able to say that, okay, based on my future expenses, I know that on average I'm spending, let's say, $100 in gas a month. So I budget. It helps me budget for that for the future.
Okay.
So that's one advantage that having multiple credit cards. And this is just for me. It's not. I don't think everybody does this, but for me, it helps me do.
Yeah, that's actually a different angle that until today I may have had an idea, but like using specifically, even though I have credit cards for like gas and certain specific categories, I didn't think about it that way. So that's actually a good thing that I probably may start doing that. Yeah,
I'm kind of a money nerd. I like to see where my money goes, and we have a budget template developed that we will talk about in another video.
Yeah,
but I like to see where my money goes.
Let's go to the next one. So another advantages why you should have many credit cards, or why I have many credit cards, is maximum rewards. Okay, so one of the very first reasons why I get too many credit cards, and I have about 22 right now, is the promo money. L'argent, Ghana say drete. Okay, it's free money. Okay, I think it's maybe only 1 to 3 credit cards that I have so far that I do not have. It's not maybe it didn't come with like free money. Every credit card I literally have, I had free money on it. Chase gave me 80,000 points, which is $800. Some gave me $200. Amex Gold gave me 90,000 points, which was $900 for travel, and Amex gave me about 75 or 750 for travel. So the more I have, the more rewards that I have. Okay, and then the more credit cards you have, because if you don't want too many credit cards, you can definitely have 1 to 3 credit cards or even less, and then you can kind of use them for whatever. You don't really care. You're just using the credit card, you just get some points back. But a lot of credit cards have specific category for specific things. Okay, so I have a card that gives me 2% cash back on everything. So usually it's like 1.5 or 1%. 2% is really good. And I have a credit card, the Amex Gold, give me 4% on food and dining and stuff. And some give you, let's say, 3% on gas, right? But if I have all these 22 credit cards, there will definitely be a specific credit card that offer me 5% on gas, especially Discover. Sometimes too hectic for me to actually know which one does which, so I just use them sometimes. But if you have, let's say, only few of them, you know this month Discover says they'll give me 5% back on gas. So instead of using the other credit card, which will give you 1% or 2%, you use Discover. So if you travel a lot or you drive a lot, it's gonna save you a lot of cash back. Okay, and so the more credit cards you have, the good sign up bonuses you're gonna get. You get a lot of different credit cards. Last year, I think I had over 1,000, 2,000 worth of free money. You know what I'm saying? That's cash back. You know what I'm saying? Well, first free sign up bonus, and then after I get the card, whatever I use, they give me cash back.
Yeah, and speaking of, so some of my credit cards are tied into the places I shop from, right? So I have a Walmart credit card, which I use to buy stuff from Walmart. I have an Amazon credit card. I just use it to buy stuff from Amazon. Best Buy credit card. I use it to buy electronics from Best Buy. Guys, I highly recommend that if you have a store where you buy a lot from, get their credit card, especially their reward credit card. When you buy from their store, you get more cash back, which is why everywhere I shop a lot, I get their card. I use it there. They give me some free money
if
back.
within a year, some people literally buy things from Amazon every day or every week. Every week they receive packages. So if you are receiving packages from Amazon every week or every 2 weeks, and maybe by the end of the year you spend like $5,000 or more, or $3,000, and you have 3% cash back. Imagine how much that will be, right?
That's free money.
That's free money.
You can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, that's free money. So if you are buying with a credit card that don't give you any cash back at all, or you're using debit card, which is even worse, and you just wasting money basically.
Yeah. And the biggest one among all the benefits, which guys pay attention to this one, because majority of us don't know until we know. The biggest advantages of having a lot of credit cards is it shoots up your credit score, right? Wow. It shoots up your credit score because credit limit, credit usage, credit ratio, and I'll explain those three, that plays huge role in your credit score. So what is a credit limit? Credit limit is pretty much how much you can spend on your credit card. So when you go to the bank to get a credit card, they may tell you your limit is $1,000, which means that's the maximum debt you can carry on that credit card.
Yeah.
So normally when you have multiple credit cards, let's say I have three different credit cards, each of them have $1,000 limits. When you go on my credit, it's gonna total up, and then it's gonna be $3,000. They're gonna calculate the total limit of my credit.
Why?
The more credit cards you have, the bigger limit you can basically have. So the next one is the credit ratio. Credit ratio is pretty much how much you're spending on the card. So at this point, let's say you have 3 different credit cards and the limit is $3,000. Same example we've been using. If you go out there and you spend $300 on one card, when they calculate it, your total limit is $3,000 on each card, and you spent $300. So on that one card you spent $300 on, it's 30%, right? But on your credit, they're gonna have the total, which is the $3,000, and the $300 is gonna be 10% of your limit. So
yeah, I mean that's just what you said. I mean, first of all, even though they are going to aggregate the cards, still make sure you spend less on each card.
Spread it out.
You have to spread it out. That's why I have multiple cards. So even though my cards have higher limits now, still I usually, if the one I have like 20,000 limits on there, I want to use maybe like 3,000 to 5,000. I don't exceed, because sometimes I don't want to carry too much debt. So I use that and make sure it's 30% or less. Even the less, the better. Okay. So I try to make sure it's 30% or less if you really, really have to and you can. And you spend 30% or less on that card. The next card, 30% or less. So if for people who don't have a lot of limits, right, the more cards, the better. Because if you have only one card and your limit is like 2,000 or 3,000 or even some people 1,000, and you use 500, that's 50% usage. It's gonna probably drop your credit by 20, 30, 50 points sometimes, and you don't want that. So you use maybe 300 on this card, and this one you really have to use 300 on this. Maybe by the time this will reflect, you have already paid this one off, and then by the time this reflect, you already paid the third one off, and then recycle again. So that's kind of why you want to get. And then, like he said, if you use 20% on this, what percent of that, what percent of that. Also, they find an average of those cards as well. Okay, so when some credit cards I have like 15,000 limit, sometimes 9,500, sometimes 17,000. When you put all of them together, it's like about $200,000. Do you have to use that $200,000?
No, you must be dumb to use it.
You must be dumb to use it. You know what I'm saying? I could go buy anything that I want, but I will not if I don't have the budget.
And guys, that's what we always say. If you're not responsible, don't get a credit card.
No.
Point blank. We have a video where we are going to talk about why you should stay away from credit cards.
Because another reason for credit cards is emergency money. Okay. So obviously, first of all, I would advise and recommend that we all should have emergency fund in already before credit cards kick in. But for real, and a reason why we get credit cards are for emergency fund. So the more credit cards you have, more emergency fund that you have, right? But still make sure, because average Americans don't have. They said, I don't know how much percentage, even at $500 to $1,000 in their bank account, right? We try. It's not easy in America, but we do try to have something small that, you know what I'm saying, like when your bill is over and your bill is due, you do not like have to go scrambling, asking for $50 and stuff like that, okay?
So think about it, right? And this is why we try to explain it to make it as easy as possible. The thing is, the lower your credit card usage, the better it is for your credit. No two ways about it, right? And the higher your credit limit, the higher your credit score can be.
Yeah.
So somebody who has a $10,000 credit limit. So what I mean by that, as I said, if you combine all your credit cards, the limits they have on them, somebody who have 10,000 versus somebody who have 100,000. Or somebody who has 50,000 versus 10. The 50,000 person will have a higher credit score. And when you go out there to use your card, maybe you're that person, you're like, I want to stay away from credit cards, I don't need them. And then you have one credit card, but you have a limit of $1,000, right? So on this credit card, you spent $500. Cool. You only have $500 worth of debt, which is cool. Somebody else have 10,000, right? They spent $1,000 on it, so they are carrying $1,000 worth of debt. You're carrying $500 worth of debt, but guess what? Their credit score in that aspect is going to be higher than yours. Now I know you're asking, but I only have $500 worth of debt. They have 1,000. Why is their credit score higher? It's because their limit is $10,000. They spent $1,000, which is 10% of that limit. So on their credit is going to show that they've spent 10% of their credit limit. So the 10% is their credit utilization, pretty much. You the one that has the $1,000 limit because you want to stay away from credit cards. You spent $500. That's 50% of your limit.
Yeah.
So now on your credit, it's going to say you spent 50% of your limit. The other person has spent 10% of their limit. So even though they have more debt than you, they're going to have a better credit score. Because it comes off as they are more responsible.
Yeah.
They spent only 10% of what they of their capacity.
Thank you for actually bringing that. One of the reasons why I have so many credit cards that I forgot about this is it shows them you are responsible. Imagine we have one credit card, make great payments, excellent for 5+ years. You've had a lot of debt you have paid off and stuff, right? He has 11 credit cards. He maintains them. He actually uses those cards. Like he uses them all the time. Pay them off. Never miss the payment for the same 5 years as the one who has one credit card. What does it say? he's more responsible, not necessarily because he's probably still not as responsible, or they are both responsible. But if he can manage 11 credit cards, it shows that you are more responsible. Then here I am too. I have 22, right? So if I can actually use 22 credit cards and I haven't missed the payment. I hope not to. Okay. If I haven't missed the payment, I use it how it should and stuff like that. It says I'm more responsible, right? It shows that I'm more responsible because if I can manage 22 credit cards, then maybe they should give me that car, right?
Yeah.
If I go get a loan, I go do whatever, and they just recently American Express, they've been following me with loans, right? They are chasing me with loans. You can get up to $35,000 with this interest rate. Discover doing the same thing. Why? Because I have cards for them, and they know my credit history and they know my payment history, right? And with those things, including my credit cards that I have, this guy, he's very responsible. But whether you like to admit it or not, it's true, because if you have never missed a payment, I always pay stuff. I don't have debt or have very little debt, and I'm always making payments with 22 credit cards. It shows I'm responsible. So that's one of the reasons why you get more credit cards, because you sell to them that you are responsible. And very truly, you're actually responsible if you have many credit cards and you're able to manage them without messing it up.
Right. So it all comes down to improving your credit score.
Yeah.
The more you have, the better it is, because then your credit limit shoots up. So even if you're in a position where you have to use a credit card and swipe a big purchase, it's not going to affect your credit score as much, because
in terms of emergencies where you have to use the credit card.
So because you have the limit to accommodate it, right? But disclaimer, as we always say, if you know yourself very well and you believe that getting all those credit cards is going to hurt you because you can't control yourself from spending, stay away from it.
It's better to have that one card than...
Yeah, we're not going to be the ones to sit here and tell you go get 22 credit cards or go get 11 credit cards. I have 11 credit cards, and my total credit card debt doesn't go beyond how much I need to spend within the month.
Yeah.
I just use my credit card for the same expenses that I was going to do anyway, and then I pay them off.
I'm not going to lie, once in a while, you buy things because you have credit cards, okay? So
but you can still afford it.
Yes, you still calculate, but I'm saying like, because sometimes maybe there's this like, damn man, I don't really want to spend it, but you do have the credit card to use it. Credit card definitely that's why you have to be disciplined. That's our first rule. I think we should have a banner and put it somewhere. Yeah. That's our first rule.
If you're not disciplined, stay away from
Stay away. Don't even get a credit card at all.
There's no two ways about it.
Because if you are someone, you have one credit card and you have missed the payment already, or you keep missing payments,
then you shouldn't get two.
Don't even get any more.
Because it's going to make your life more difficult.
Yeah, I think the only thing I may have wanted to add is we talked about it in the previous video that obviously if you get a new credit card, you can save with the balance transfers. Actually, the balance transfer is not just for when you get a new credit card. Recently, I did a balance transfer with my existing card.
Yeah, the old ones offer that.
Yeah, from time to time, they review your credit and then they'll say, oh, yeah, give you 0%, whatever, and then you can do balance transfers. But usually, most of the time, when you get a new credit card, they offer balance transfers. Yes.
All right, guys. So thank you for watching. We hope we dropped some gems for you. If you have any comments or anything that you think we need to learn as well, feel free to drop them in the comment. Like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you more financial knowledge. We have a lot more videos that will be coming your way.
Yes.
And thank you for watching. Until next time, peace out.
Peace out.